Om Sahna Bhavatu Sahnau Bhunaktu Sah Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, may He protect us both. May we both enjoy together. May we both exert together. May our studies become brilliant. May we not become disputatious or hate each other. Om, peace, peace, peace. Welcome everybody to the online classes going on now. So one of the students has asked this question. So I'm just answering that question. The question is in Bhagavad Gita, when Duryodhana is talking to Dronacharya, he tells Dronacharya twice born. He addresses Dronacharya as twice born. Twice born indicates 2 times being born. So why did he say twice born? Twice born means once you are born biologically, physically, second time you are born mentally. So twice born. Here, twice born means on mentally, when you're saying the best of the Brahmins, means a person who's thinking. Twice born here, when Duryodhana tells to Dronacharya, it is an insult stating that, oh teacher, you are a top class Brahmin. Brahmin means a person who is a teacher. What job have you got to come and fight in a warfare? It is more of an insult. It is known as it is an insult because of the subsequent verses also, where he shows Dronacharya that you are nothing but a simple guy who's fighting on our side. That's all. Therefore, he also mentions saying that all of you stand together and protect only Bhishma. So it is an insult, twice born. Otherwise, the meaning of twice born is the best of the twice born, best of the human beings who can think properly. So this is the meaning of it. There's this beautiful story of a prince who was coming towards a teacher, a guru. And when he was coming towards the guru, he touched the guru's feet and he took guru's blessings, teacher's blessings. Immediately the sage went behind and said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm touching your feet because you are to be respected." So the teacher looked at him and said, "Why should you respect me? What did I do?" So, "Oh, sir, but you have given up the world and you are seeking God. Therefore, you need to be respected because your renunciation, you have renounced the world and taken up God." So the Rishi said, "Oh, okay, okay." And then he went down and touched the prince's feet. So he said, "Why are you touching my feet? I am just a student." "No, no, no. You are a more renunciate. You have done more renunciation than me. Therefore, I am touching your feet. You have done more tyaga." He said, "What did I do?" Then the Rishi is asking the student, "Whom do you think is more powerful, the world or God?" He says, "God, naturally." So the teacher says, "I have given up the world to take up something higher, that is God. You are a more renunciate, a better renunciate, because you have taken up the world and given up something higher. Therefore, I am touching your feet." Why I'm giving this example is most of the time, if not all the time, the senses drag us and we get attracted towards the lower. It happens automatically. All you have to do is not control your own personality. That's all. So all of us at any given point of time are, like Ram Tirtha puts it in 1902, when he was talking in the United States, he was quoting Jesus and saying that all of us have sold Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. Judas, just like Judas, all of us have sold our Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. So I have given up this pursuit of finding out who God is or who this higher nature is. I've just given up. Why? Because I'm getting something in the lower, ready-made, instantly. One sense, and every time the attitude is, what's wrong if I do this? It just starts with that and ends with that. What's wrong if I do this? And the answer is no, it's not wrong. What's wrong in smoking one cigarette? It's not wrong. This is not wrong is said by your own mind, our own mind. What's wrong in having? I don't drink. I just drink. What's it called? Social drinkers. I socially drink. What's wrong? Nothing. The mind keeps on sanctioning this. Nothing. 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 And ultimately, at the end of the day, we sell our own souls to the devil. And the devil loves it. It's its ultimate victory is to turn a good person into a bad one. It's his ultimate victory. That's why in the previous verses, when we were talking about going slowly, kurmonga ni vasarvashaha indriyani, so control the senses and become like a kurma. Automatically, when you are indulging in the world or contacting the world, slowly the world starts, the world of sense objects which attract you starts losing its strength. It starts losing its strength. Eventually, the sense object is not there before me anymore, but the rasa is still there. The rasa is still there. The rasa indicates the thirst for that sense object is still there. Even that will go away. Don't worry. All you have to do is what? Control your senses. We'll chant the next verse, which is coming. Yatato yapi kaunteya purushasya vipaschitaha indriyani pramathini haranti prasabham manaha. Yatato yapi kaunteya, O Kaunteya, O son of Kunti. Whenever Krishna addresses Arjuna, specific names he addresses to mean specific things. Kaunteya is a son of Kunti because Kunti is basically emotional by nature. Therefore, you have got that. Therefore, now you are represented as son of Kunti. You are also becoming emotional in certain things. There is, when we use the term in Vedanta, emotions, this is the maximum problem with understanding these concepts. When we use the term emotion, all of them say that these people, so-called spiritual people, don't have any emotions. Therefore, when they are sad, they can smile. When they are happy, they can smile. It becomes like a dull, dim-wit person. They don't have any emotions. No, it's not that. The greatest of masters have said, you should have emotions. Each and everybody has emotions. You cannot do without emotions. You have emotions, nice emotions to guide everybody, yes. But why create an emotional drama? Emotional drama is the manifestation of the emotion is so gross that you feel irritated. When somebody dies, you hit it on the chest, wah, 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 keep on crying, shouting loudly. There's a whole class in one of the cities, one of the states, I don't know, where they actually appoint people to cry because the rich people don't know how to cry that much. So these professionals come and they start crying. Now, all these gimmicks, why? Why avoid emotional drama? So you should have emotions, but we don't understand that. So Kaunteya, don't function on blind emotions, O Kunti Putra, O Arjuna, O Kaunteya. The turbulent senses, Yapi Kaunteya, Purushasya Vipaschitaha. The turbulent senses of even a wise man while striving, indeed forcibly carries away his mind. It's so beautiful. Throughout the Shastras, we keep on talking about control the mind, control the mind, control the mind. And to control the mind, thousands of avenues are given. You sit with your eyes closed, meditate, count till 100, you count sheep till 100. All these concepts, when you get angry, go back and count 10, 10, 9, 8. All these concepts and ideas and ideologies are given to control the mind. And here Krishna says, you cannot control the mind. Because the mind, it's very difficult to control. In fact, he says that ahead. He says, Purushasya vipas indriyani pramathini. This senses, the sense organs are there and it is running behind the sense objects. Why it is running? Because there is a mind behind which is emotional and is attached to that. Why is the mind attached to that particular object? Because you have a wrong sense of values. We have a wrong sense of values against those particular objects. Therefore, based on that sense value, the mind is not educated. Since the mind is not educated, it harbors or harnesses wrong sense of values and it escapes from sense organs. And these sense organs, whenever it opens up, starting with the day, it seeks sense objects. And it goes, eyes, you close, you're sleeping. Open the eyes, you have to see color and form, you don't have a choice. Ears are always open for sound and noise. Tongue is always open for taste, personally, touch, every aspect, nose to smell. You can't control them, it is there. It seeks the sense objects. And the mind escapes through that and gets attached to that sense objects. So what should we do? Be careful of these contacts. Just be careful. What are the sense contacts that are hindering your spiritual progress? Remember, this is not to look outward and tell what are the problems of the other person. You could be better if only you do not do this, is not Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita and any scripture for that matter is, I could be better if I do not do this or do this. And the struggle is on. Every time you're struggling with your lower nature, you subdue the lower nature and re-establish the higher nature. This is the way it's supposed to be. So Adi Shankaracharya, he says, I got 5 senses: eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin. And in his book, Adi Shankaracharya, in his book Viveka Chudamani, gives the example of 5 animals. He says these 5 animals represent my weaknesses. He gives the example of a moth. A moth sees a flame, it looks around and sees other insects and other moth getting attracted to the flame and singeing itself, burning itself. In spite of seeing the effect of what the flame has on all the moth, it cannot stop itself. And it rushes into the flame and singes and burns itself. Weakness for eye. weakness for nose. A bee looking or smelling the nectar goes into flowers, what we call the Venus flytrap or the pitcher plant. It goes inside smelling the nectar. As soon as it steps inside, the surface becomes very, very slippery. It slips down and it gets digested. Weakness for nose. Weakness for ear. A deer cannot hear a lion's roar because the lion puts its head down and roars. The roar is echoing, so the deer doesn't know where it is. So it panics and starts running. It was nicely camouflaged in the bushes and the jungle where the lion can't see. But when it starts running, it is seen and then it is hunted. The hunters also hunt, as well as the lion or animals, carnivores also hunt. Death by listening. Ear is done, nose is done, eye is done, tongue, taste. Fish is the only animal which can die of overeating. Sorry. Two animals are there, fish and human being. We are also like that. We can die of, we will eat. And when the food is still here, if you don't believe me, go to some marriages. You'll come to know. They have a plate. On the plate, they will keep everything on top. Everything, just in case it gets over. They'll eat the whole thing. You go to a hotel, you'll eat your fill. And after that, when you can't eat anymore, we will say parcel kar do. Do it parcel, please. We will not say enough. Little bit of sweet, little bit of this, little bit of, and little bit, nicely roll up. Same thing, fish. It keeps on eating. You feed it, munching, and ultimately it sees a worm dangling before its nose and it goes and eats, though its stomach is full. And it is caught in the angler's bait and it is killed. Weakness for tongue. Weakness for skin. During the time of mating, the elephant is said to be in a rut. So where you see elephant in National Geography and all, they have this wet glands behind the ears which runs. So if too much water means they are in a rut already to mate. And in that madness, they can be easily captured. So a pit is dug in the ground, covered with leaves and branches. The elephant runs over it, traps itself, and it loses its independence. When I was studying this, found it a little difficult because in all the four cases, all the animals lose their life, whether it is moth, whether it is deer, whether it is fish, whether it is bee. Here, elephant is not losing its life, it's losing its independence. But in many cases, losing your independence is worse than death. There's this beautiful story, I'll just say this story to you. Once a dog, a wild dog, was roaming around in the forest. It wanted to eat something, it did not know what to eat, it couldn't get anything. After 3 days and 4 days of hunger, it became so thin and so sick. It came near a particular house and there was a garden in that house. And the dog saw that another dog, a healthy dog, was running in that garden. And it was playing with a ball or something. And this healthy dog looked at this sick dog, completely thin, and he said, "Oh my God, what condition? What happened to you?" He said, "Yeah, I don't have food. I have not eaten for 3-4 days. You want food to eat? Come to my house." And they had a dog kennel. He took that other dog, the sick dog, the thin dog, into the kennel. He gave him some food. There was a dog fan also. So he switched off the fan for this person. I said, "My God, so you can eat?" Like, yeah, I got 3 times meal. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner I am eating. My master is so good and so nice. I can't tell you. He's really a gem of a person. Tell you what, why not I take you to him and he will keep you. Both of us can play and both of us will have. Our whole life is so-called, as humans say, settled. We will be settled in life. Like our Guruji, Swamiji says, only dust particles settle down. Matter doesn't. Otherwise, the clearer aspect doesn't. Let us settle down. And the dog says, oh, really? 3 times food? Yes, yes. Oh, so I should not have to go for hunting at all for any food. Not at all required. Nothing required. She says, okay. And then the other dog sees this rich man's dog. It has something on its neck, a collar. So what is this? Oh, this is the collar. Is it for decoration or something? No, no, my master, now, when we are going out, now, he puts me on a leash. Says, sorry, I don't get it. What did you say? So whenever we are going out, he puts the leash and he takes me for a round walk outside the garden, wherever we are going. And then he brings me back and removes the leash. He says, let me get this straight. Whenever your master is taking you out, you can't do and go out on yourself. You have to be on the leash. Well, yeah, there's nothing wrong because that rope goes to a particular level and that much I can enjoy. Acha, acha, acha. So you can't roam on your own. No, no. Only for that matter. The rest of the garden, house, everything I'm able to do. He says, I'm sorry, but I'll not be participating in this venture. I'll not be participating in this venture. He said, why? I would better die hungry, but roam free. I would not be imprisoned by anything and stay so-called being content in life. I will not do that. This is what we talk about freedom. All our leaders, whether it's Bhagat Singh or Rajguru, Sukhdev, all these people belong to this category. Give me freedom or give me death. So these 5 examples are given by Adi Shankaracharya to mention just one fact. Any one weakness of any one sense organ, eyes or ears or nose or tongue or skin, any one of them, it is enough to destroy a personality. It is enough to destroy a personality. And then he puts it, how many weaknesses do you have? How many weaknesses does a human being have? How many weaknesses does a human being have? He keeps it and leaves it as that. So this is it. The 5 examples are given. Even a person who has reached a particular state, yatato yapi kaunteya purushasya vipassitaha. At a particular striving, a person who's reached a particular state, even that person can fall down. Example, Vishwamitra. He was considered to be a Raja Rishi. Sitting in the seat of meditation means where the world and all its effects have completely disappeared. Even at that seat, he could be disturbed by an Apsara called Menaka. Menaka, Apsara, all these represents the sense objects which entices you. Never underestimate the power of the mind. How does the mind function? The senses, pramathini, like a tornado, it functions. That weakness takes you up and it throws you away. And it takes the mind also along. Beauty is when the mind also goes along with the senses, nothing else remains. The intellect, this is the personality. Within this personality is the mind and the intellect. Mind is a seat of emotions, moods, impulses, likes and dislikes. Emotion is a seat of discrimination, judgment, decision making. When the mind takes over, it runs away. The senses pick up the mind and the mind takes away. The intellect also follows. But the difference when we say intellect also follows indicates intellect has become subservient to the mind. Then the mind draws a boundary, and within that periphery, the intellect has to think. The mind will say, I am doing this because I love doing it. And when somebody is asking, why are you doing it? This is not good for your evolution. The mind will ask the intellect, listen, I have drawn the periphery and this is what we are going to do. You tell me why we are doing it. You give some justification. And then the intellect will justify. No, actually, no, we should do this. It will give all the reasons why I am doing something which is wrong. This is what Duryodhana said. Janami dharmam na chami pravritti, janami adharmam na chavi nivritti. I know what is dharma, but I can't follow it. I know what is adharma, but I have so much taste to it that I can't do without it. People have misunderstood the whole thing. We follow sense contacts, we follow rituals, we follow anything where you are not able to think. Because once you start thinking, other than why am I doing a particular ritual? Why is this particular news come? Why are the anchors talking about one? Does everybody have a particular agenda? When you think over it, that makes you dangerous. Because a dangerous person can think, and a thinking person can never be maneuvered and manipulated by weaker people. Don't become a Vishwamitra. Be careful. It will take, your senses is so powerful, it will take you away and it will take the mind away also. This is again represented by one of the beautiful examples in the Ramayana. Sita and Rama went to the jungles. Lakshmana also followed. 14 years Vanvas. In that 14 years, 13 years she lived blissfully with Rama. She did not ask anything from anybody. Because until Rama was there, she was happy. Rama was also happy because Sita was there. They were just contented within themselves. But Sita, on the 13th year, the 14th year, in fact, she saw the golden deer. She saw the golden deer and told Rama, I wanted the golden deer. In fact, there is this beautiful book called Vedanta Treatise by our teacher, Parthasarthiji. In that, there is this lovely line. The sense objects even disappears before it appears. So the golden deer represents a sense object. It disappeared before it came. It just vanished. So there was a fleeting moment of that sense object. And Sita said, I want that. First time in her whole entire life, she wanted something else other than the presence of Rama. Sita represents the individual self, man or woman, self, jiva. Rama represents the Purusha, the supreme reality. When I am contented with supreme reality for 13 years or whatever, I am well taken care of. But as soon as my attention diverts, changes from the supreme reality to I want that also from the world, a golden deer. Then nature comes and says to Sita, oh, you wanted the golden deer. Tell you what, I will give you a golden palace where everything is made of gold. Try to be happy there. And Sita is kidnapped, as you know the story. As soon as she is kidnapped, she never sets foot in that gold palace of Ravana. She is sitting in Ashokavan, in a garden, constantly contemplating on the higher. When the jiva is asking something else, I want that, just the senses. It will take away the mind, it will take away the intellect, and you will get your life back only when you have concentrated and understood that the higher values which leads you to evolution cannot be given up. That, so if I ask you a simple homework, can you do that? You just write in one page, what is the most beloved thing for you? Take this example. Supposing you give this, you will write, my most beloved thing is my husband, my wife, my children, my parents, my profession, all this thing. You will never say my beloved thing is my principles and values of higher aspects of life. That should be there, the supreme reality. All this will be there, you don't worry. But when the attitude changes as this all should be there and that can be there, trouble starts. This is where yatato, it takes your mind and throws you away into a different place. And by the time you realize where you are, you already lost. The gravitation pull of the sense objects has captured us so much that now we don't have the strength, neither the inclination, neither the motivation to do something higher. What is that higher? Live to a higher principles of life. Live a life of gratitude. Live a life of saying thank you for this. Not selfishly adhering to your own quality. Don't create. I'll give you a simple example of how to go about life. Don't create divisions. Don't create demarcations. Don't put anybody into the compartments of Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Isai, Christianity, Buddhism. Don't put these compartments. You are different, I am different, don't put. No religion teaches that. Therefore, always it is love which takes the highest point. If you have love, adveshta sarva bhutanam, first quality. No hatred towards any being. What is the use of me being so-called a religious person and yet harboring hate inside? Then you are not a bhakta, as simple as that. This attitude. So, indriyani pramathini haranti prasabham manaha. It goes on. We move on to the next verse now. Tani sarvani samyamya yukta asita matparaha vashe hi yasyendriyani tasya prajna pratisthita. Tasya prajna pratisthita. That person's wisdom is established. Lord Krishna is not saying the person whose wisdom is established will be like this. No. He is qualifying this person, saying those people who have this quality, his wisdom is established. Tani sarvani sayyam. Therefore, controlling all. Having controlled them all. All means what? Senses, which is running behind sense objects. Mind, which is running behind the senses. Intellect, which is supposed to not follow rigidity of principles, but the fluidity of the higher values and emotions. Intellect, guiding the mind to have great emotions, guiding the sense organs to decipher and demarcate which sense objects to go and which not. What is indulgence and what is the sense contact which is required for my evolution. All this controlled, having controlled them all, he should sit focused on me as supreme. The mind has completely come under control. It is not running here and there. Intellect knows what it needs to achieve in life. It is sitting in complete control of itself. The personality is established. This is a state of meditation. You don't need to do anything after this. Focused on me as supreme. His wisdom is established. That person is called Sthita Prajna. Vashehi yasya indriya. Who has controlled his senses? So what you have to do? Control the mind, control the mind. Mind is acting and functioning through the sense organs. And sense organs are going behind sense objects. In this external manifestation, reduce it. Just a little bit of this indulgence is not good for me. So how do I go about it? I direct the mind's attention somewhere else, even for half an hour. It's difficult to get up in the morning. Can I get up a little bit 15 minutes early? Yes, just for 15 minutes and divert the mind. What all weaknesses the mind has to say, I can't do without this. Can you stay away? Not completely, just a little bit. One step at a time. In Bhajagovindam, there's this beautiful verse. I think so, it is 30th verse. Pranayamam pratyaharam nitya anitya viveka vicharam japya sameta samadhi vidhanam purvavadhanam mahadavadhanam. Start with pranayama. What is the meaning of pranayama? Everybody knows how to do pranayama. When you do pranayama, you take in half of what you let out. I take in 2 breaths, I give up 4. Sir, I am better in pranayama. I take in 4 breaths and I give up 8. Your giving up has to be more than your taking. In the world also, you have to follow the same principle. That is pranayama. Taking in from the society less, giving to the society more, you will be happy. Taking in from the society more and more, giving less, you will be suffering. So first do pranayama. What is pranayama? Control of breath is not pranayama. Control of breath is swashayanama, breath control. Pranayama means there are 5 pranas inside my system. Prana, apana, vyana, samana, udana. Prana is controlling the stimuli which is coming from within. Apana, whatever stimuli is not needed for my evolution, I evacuate, I throw out. Samana, whatever stimuli I have received, it's nicely circulated into the whole system. Vyana, from that circulated system, a little bit of strength comes to me. And with that strength comes to me, udana, my thought process improves and becomes better so that I can understand the concepts of higher life, which hereunto I have not understood. I'll give you a very simple example to make this understand. I eat an apple. Prana. Seeds, I don't need. The junk in between, a little bit of thing, I don't need. I throw it out. Apana. That apple is circulated in my personality by the blood. Samana. Circulation releases, that food releases oxygen and glucose. Vyana. And this oxygen and glucose reaches to the brain and gives it inner strength to absorb further thoughts and better thoughts which can improve my life. Udana. When you are in control of all this, you have done pranayama. Oh my God. All the things, how can you control? Don't need to control. You control only one. Prana. Apana is not in your hand. The system will take care. Circulation will take care. The breaking up of the food will be taken care of. And the thought absorption, udana, will also be taken care of. All you have to do, control the stimuli. Prana. Pranayamam. And after that, pratyahar. Now the mind is not going outside in the world. You are very peaceful. Then whatever is unreal in the world, which is temporary, I am not going to pay so much attention to that. That which is temporary, for which reason I have come into this world, my own purpose is to find out who I am. That is what I'm going to focus. Nitya, Anitya, Viveka, Vicharam. After this, Japa, meditation. Then you are ready for that. You reach the highest. All starts with what? Control your sense organs. One at a time, limited time, you will reach the highest. It is the very easy way of evolution. People make it difficult so that there is always a gap between the teacher and the student. Each and every Ram Tita used to say this. If a person like me has achieved this higher state, what to talk of people like you who are already intelligent enough? We'll continue next time. Thank you. Oh. Hari Om.